So I'm of the belief that entrepreneurs are made, not born. And I'm exhibit A in that. I grew up in a military family, and which is about as far from entrepreneurship as is possible because it's very conservative and everybody relies on a paycheck. The firm that I built was a cloud platform for large companies to procure contract labor and consulting services, et cetera, better in that time. At the time we sold it, it was a 35% EBITDA company, so killer margins. And this thing had just become a machine. I sold the company in May 2014, then I stayed a little bit over a year. I did the deal on a handshake with the SAP CEO, who's also a Kellogg grad, Bill McDermott. And I said, I'll make sure that you're not left in the lurch. It's important to end journeys properly. That's all people remember. Whether it's a relationship with a friend or an intimate relationship or an employment relationship, everybody forgets everything except how the thing ended. That's what ends up defining the relationship. One of the techniques I used to flesh out the idea itself was interviews, a lot of interviews. So after I wrote out my basic thesis of the plan, etc., not in great detail, but in 2 or 3 pages, I would just call people that I knew either through the Kellogg network or the McKinsey network who I thought were potential buyers of the thing that I was building. And I would ask them for 10 minutes of their, 10 or 15 minutes of their time. And you'll be astonished how readily people will give you that, because you have nothing to sell. It's when you're trying to sell something that everybody gets all tense and tightened up. But people love offering up their point of view on your thing, because really nobody asks them for their point of view. That's a relatively rare thing. It's very seductive, actually. And if you do that, you'll be astonished how, firstly, people don't do this, right? You're immediately ahead of the game if you do something like this with your prospective buyers. And you end up tightening up your idea that much more. And therefore, the team you can recruit gets better because you're more persuasive, and then the money people sign up. There's a good mental creative framework that I use, which is what mindset do I have at a particular stage? And it goes through 4 mindsets. There's an explorer, there's an artist, a judge, and a warrior. What I mean by this is when you're first looking at an industry, have the mindset of an explorer, right? You're just curious. What is this? What is this? Pick up rocks. What's under that thing? How does this work? Why does it work like that? Ask all those questions. And with that mindset, you'll actually collect a ton of information. You'll talk to people, you'll interview people, and you'll have a large amount of information about the subject. But then you have to stop at some point and shift mindset to that of an artist. What does an artist do? They take available materials, which is the stuff you just gathered, and try to create something of it that makes sense, that outlines of your business model. That's what an artist does. But then that artist has to stop its thing at some point. And you shift to a judge. What does a judge do? They have opinions, this but not this. So you prune out a whole bunch of things. When you're done with all of that is then the warrior. What does a warrior do? We're taking that hill. I got my orders, we're taking that. So it's a useful way of thinking about it. And you can always go back to a previous mindset. And I remember when I had my team, I would always, you have these conflicts in a team, like I'm saying this and they're not getting it and so on. It's a useful way to say, look, we're doing the explorer thing right now, so just work with me. And it helps people who are already being judgmental about the thing, move back to a certain thing.